All right, so here we are, another year, another Super Bowl performance, another year of people saying that was the worst performance in Super Bowl history. It never fails every single year. At the end of the performance, people say it's lackluster and they hate it, the worst thing ever. But this year with Kendrick Lamar, it seems a bit different. And I'm going to break down to see why people think this way and why I personally think that they're completely wrong. Y'all stay tuned in. This is from Just Say Anything.
Just say anything. Like, share, and subscribe.
You're not just saying that?
I never just say anything.
So, as you can see right now on the internet, there's been a lot of buzz, there's been a lot of hate, and a lot of love for the Kendrick Lamar performance. And I believe that this one is far more different from any other performance that has been had on the Super Bowl stage. To me, I think Kendrick Lamar weaponized his hype, and that's why we're still talking about it now. All right, let's be real. Super Bowl halftime slander is basically a holiday at this point. It comes around every single year. I mean, it's just like pumpkin spice in the fall, Mariah Carey in December, and the worst performance ever every February. Remember when Rihanna basically did her performance in the same spot, or that's what people were saying when she performed and saying how boring it was, or when The Weeknd and Travis Scott had some weird dystopian future slash blood sacrifice. I don't know what they had going on, but people hated those performances. But when they look back on it, they say, oh, it was nice, or they'll say that it wasn't the worst performance, but at that time, they always have recency bias and always say that this is the worst performance ever. Twitter said that Travis Scott and The Weeknd's performance was mid before the performance was even over. They already was critiquing it before it was even over. But here's the real about it. The hate is the point. The NFL doesn't care if you love it or hate it. They just care that you watched it. That's it. They don't care if you say play it again or if you say never play it again. Either way, they made you look. So that's the ultimate goal of this whole thing. The NFL doesn't care if you hate it or not. They just want to say I made you look. They don't care if you say I want to play it again, play it every day, or never again. The whole thing is just to have attention. And it's exactly what this performance is doing. It's a conversation starter. It's starting conversations that I never seen with a performance that people worldwide are talking about it and analyzing different things in a performance. I never seen this happen with any other performance. So I think that this is why this performance is very significant.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
So here's the real. I mean, the hate is the point. The NFL doesn't care if you loved it or hate it. They just want you screaming at the TV, either play it again or never again. But either way, they made you look. I mean, either way, you glued in on the screen. And Kendrick, I think he knew exactly what he was doing when he set this performance up. I think Kendrick picked those songs specifically to have conversation and make it a conversation starter. While most artists treat the Super Bowl like it's a fireworks show, Kendrick treated it more like it's a rap show or like a cipher, to listen to what I'm saying and to visualize the visuals that I'm saying as well too. He didn't just perform, he narrated, bringing in Samuel L. Jackson just as the voice and actually the critics as well too. So the same thing that Samuel L. Jackson was saying, Kendrick Lamar actually put into the show, knowing people would say that, which I think is genius. It was more so like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but let me school you a little bit. Let me go deeper into conversation, which I know is off-putting to a lot of people, where they don't want to think in the entertainment, they just want to have fun, and that's cool, and like as well as me too. But I think on a big stage, you actually have to you owe it to the people. Actually, you don't owe it to the people, but it feels me personally, if I have a big stage, I will also want to teach people or have a deeper conversation on what's going on, just more so than pyrotechnics and just on the nose things. Like I say, this thing's gonna be broken down for weeks, probably months at this point. So I think that was the reason for that. I mean, there's other videos that's breaking down the performance. I'm not here to really break down the exact things of it, but I'm just telling you why I think it's good. I mean, even the diss towards Drake, it wasn't just a diss towards Drake or he wanted to make his performance, about Drake. I think it's what Drake represent. I think it's more so of hip hop started from being like protest and to be like, you can't tell me what to do, or just a rebellious genre. But Drake right now with his lawsuit is kind of like a suit, or someone who's telling people that they can't do certain things, and it's basically rebellion to say, nah, I do what I want to. I'll call you out on this stage and ain't nothing you can do about it. Kind of like NWA back in the day when the police told them they can't perform certain songs. It's very hip hop to say, anti-establishment, and Drake represent the establishment. So a lot of people comparing his performance to Beyonce, Usher doing the roller disco, and all that was amazing. Beyonce with the Black Panther thing, which was on the nose, which was cool as well too. It was great. But right after the performance, people stop talking about it. They might get 10 minutes afterwards and they move on with life. But this is the first performance that I see with people analyzing, making dissertation papers and analyzing so much, making YouTube videos. It's enough for me to make a YouTube video about it. I don't see that many other performances of people talking about it. Even going back to the rock performances, Slayer, Black Eyed Peas, which was a terrible performance as well too. So let me mention that. Terrible performance, but people say that Kendrick Lamar was the worst performance, but like I said before, it's recency bias, and that's fine, I guess, but y'all need to know what y'all doing when y'all say it. Y'all can't just be saying salacious things just like that, like this is the worst performance. And to even try to compare it to other performances that people love, like Michael Jackson and Prince, which are different genres of artists, so their shows are going to be different. Kendrick Lamar is a hip-hop artist. He did a hip-hop show. He did great by hip-hop. If you love hip-hop, you'll love the performance, or just love artistry in general, you'll love it. But if you're someone who's coming in and just say, you know what, let me just see what's going on over there, let's see what these people got going on over here, you're probably not gonna like it. If it was casual, cool, but it wasn't for that. So the people who personally say that they was in the stands and they showing these clips, which I think they're doctored up to say like no one was cheering or the crowd was boring. He really didn't make that show for the people who can afford the Super Bowl tickets. That wasn't the message. It was the people that couldn't afford the tickets. That's the people he was talking to. Now, they might have got some of the message. It's cool if they do get the message, but I don't think that show was specifically for the people who were there, who paid for the tickets, to be honest with you. And I think that's another statement as well, too, is to show that, disenfranchisement of Black people in America, just different conversations that need to be had. And I think people thought, since it wasn't the show that I think it should have been, then it was a trash show. But I think that he was like, I want to do songs that I want to do. Is my time and my performance, and this is the message that I want to put out, which I think is more powerful than just doing the exact thing that people thought you were going to do. People thought he was going to do We Gonna Be All Right. He already did those performances before, on standing on a cop car, doing those things. So as an artist, people know if you're an artistic person, you don't want to repeat doing the same thing over and over all the time, especially on something that big of a stage. So it's different performances of him doing that before, him doing the Black Panther thing, him doing certain things. So just on the imagery wise, that's why I think he chose something different this time to say, hey, this is, my artistry right now. And like I say, people gonna like it, they gonna hate it, they gonna whatever, but I think a lot of people just don't like conscious things, or they don't like to be preached at, I guess you want to say, in their entertainment. They kind of just want to dance and see lights and, people jumping off the things and like a circus act or something. And he was basically like, nah, I'm not a circus act. I want to show people and have conversations, and I can be entertaining as well too, but it's going to be on my terms and what I want to do. So like I say, it's a big statement. And for the people that say Lil Wayne could have did better, I personally don't think so, because he don't have any recent footage of him doing well at a show. His voice sounds terrible. He sounds like he literally just smoking too much, or whatever you want to call it. It's like it don't sound good sonically. So I mean, these people put in things, and these people research to see who they're going to put on stage. And I think that they saw his research and was like, nah, we not going for that. I don't know if you want to put something in the hands of someone who seems very unprofessional, let's say that. And there's no knock on Wayne. He's one of my favorite rappers, but he's one of my favorite rappers, but it's still just more so like, hey, we ain't trying to risk it with that. You feel me? Like, but I think a lot of people, like I said before, just don't want to think. They don't want to have these conversations. They don't want to, make these people feel uncomfortable and things like that. Kendrick Lamar is making these people feel uncomfortable. So I think Kendrick Lamar, his music sometimes, even his performances, just make people feel uncomfortable, and I don't think they like that. Just like his last album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, there's a lot of conversations that made people feel uncomfortable. And I think when you're that person and that he's talking about in those certain records, you don't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, people say it's his worst album, but it was his most introspective album. He was talking about more so his life, but people don't want to hear that artists go that in depth. They think they do, but they really don't. They want surface level things, or they want things that make them feel good about themselves, and which I understand. But then sometimes with artistry, it gets ugly. It's conversations that needs to be had, that people need to talk about, and that's the artistry that I think that's needed. It's cool to have, shake whatever, you do whatever, just to let the day go by and have fun. That's cool. But then sometimes you can use artistry, which I personally think that there should be more of, is using it as a conversation piece, just like art. Every art can't be Picasso or whatever you want to call it. It's like certain things have certain conversations. In art, you got to have different genres, different type. When it comes to music, same way too. So it can't just be one type. And then with the Super Bowl, this being a big platform, people think that a Super Bowl show should only be one way, and it only should be one conversation and one thing, and don't put this in front of me, and it shouldn't be these conversations, and don't add this into my entertainment, and all these other things. And I think that's a thing of the past, and that's why I think why Kendrick made this performance the way he did, is because, like I say, it's just adding more conversation and more people talking about deeper things, way deeper than music, things that people might come years later and be like, oh, that's what he was talking about. Certain people in the industry calling shots out to certain people, Drake allegedly doing certain things with certain people, and so it's conspiracies, all these things. I mean, I just think that is just deeper than just a performance, and I think that's what he was trying to portray. It's just deeper than these performances, and we don't have to get on stage. And he could have easily just perform Money Trees, Good Kid, Mad City, hits. Could have did Poetic Justice, maybe. Could have did, songs that people know him for, and just try to fall in line to what's going on. But I think that he had other plans, and he fulfilled those plans. And like I said, it was a great rap show. And shout out his breath control, because I don't know too many performers that literally breath control was flawless. He sounded like he was on the track while he was at the Super Bowl, doing all that moving and all that. SZA as well too, and great vocals. And it was like a great plug for his show that's coming up as well too. And this show, he's gonna do all the old hits and all these other things. But for this show, like I said before, I think it was just for the conversation and just to open people's minds up to what a halftime performance can be. And it doesn't always have to be the biggest hits and the biggest whatever. And mind you, he just won Grammys off these songs as well too. So I mean, these are hit records as well too. They just more newer hit records. And I think he focused more so on himself as well too, and say, I'm not bringing out, he could have brought Pharrell out, he could have brought Rihanna out, he could have brought all these people out, but it's like, no, I'm doing it just for me and SZA, and that's what we doing, we rocking out for. I think it was a great performance. If you don't think it's a great performance, that's cool too. I just think that, like I say, people are harder on him because of the conversations that he had. The fact that people calling it the worst performance, or calling it whack, or calling it mid, or whatever you want to call it, I don't agree with that. like I say, I think that just since that is him and the conversations he had, people critique it a lot harder. But I think that the fact that it's Kendrick Lamar and what he represents and, his type of music, I think a lot of people critique it a lot more than what they would have done another artist. Because the fact that they're saying the worst performance ever, which I know that's clickbait, but the fact that it's even coming out their mouth, because I remember the Black Eyed Peas, terrible performances. Even before them, there was all these rock bands and people were saying that this was lame. We want something of the culture and all these other things. We want things that resonate with the people and the times. And I think that he resonated with the times. I don't see too many kids saying that it was lame. I see a lot of older people saying that, and people like academics who is compromised and people like that, because academics knows that the things that he was exposed in a conversation he having or against people like him behind closed doors might be doing some things that's, not good and, could be criminal allegedly. But like I say, he represents a lot of people, conversations that's happening that's making people feel uncomfortable and exposing a lot of things. And some of those people who on the side of Drake and those things that's allegedly happening might not like those things. But for the people who on the right side or the side who's more for the people, or who want these crazy acts that's allegedly happening behind the scenes to end, we all for it. I ain't tripping on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want all these people exposed. Get them the hell out the culture. Get them out our music. Get them out whatever. If they doing some creep stuff, get them out of here. And if Kendrick got to be the one to expose them, good luck. I mean, good job for doing it, for real. 'Cause we need these people out, to be honest with you. 'Cause it's really sickening for these people to be, allegedly doing certain things and having these things on their names, but they're defending people and they want to keep their way of life. But honestly, the way the world's moving, their time is numbered, to be honest with you. Yeah. So they are going to be exposed. They're all going to be out the way soon. But they just fighting their last fight. They're fighting their last fight. And seeing like it's a fight, against good and evil, like I say, but I ain't trying to make it too much. But people don't want to hear all that when it comes to a Super Bowl performance and people exposing and, dissertations, whatever. They just want to move, and feel entertained, see some pyrotechnics, have some people fly from the sky, some circus stuff, and then you go home. But they don't want a story. I don't want messages and stuff like that. But yeah, that's just my rant for today for the Super Bowl. Y'all let me know what y'all think. If y'all loved it, cool. If y'all hate it, I guess that's cool too. But y'all see what I think about it. Remember, this is Ish from Just Say Anything, where we just don't say anything. We always have a message. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out.
Just say anything. Like, share, and subscribe.
You're not just saying that?
I never just say anything.